If you've been scrolling through endless forums, watching video after video trying to decide which trolling motor actually makes sense for your weekend boat, you know how overwhelming that can feel. The tension builds when you picture yourself out on the water, hoping the motor you pick will actually hold the line when you need it, instead of just being another piece of equipment you'll regret. That's why today's review is all about cutting through the noise and figuring out if the Minn Kota Ultrex bow-mount electric trolling motor is the right fit for you. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's start with the big question everyone asks: will this motor actually make my fishing experience smoother, or am I just adding weight and cost for nothing? The Ultrex is positioned as a high-end, 80-pound thrust model aimed at serious freshwater anglers who want precise control without the hassle of a traditional gasoline engine. That promise sounds great on paper, but the real test comes when you're out on a 12-foot bass boat at 7 a.m., trying to keep your line tight in a windy spot. In the field, the motor's patented lift assist design is where the practical advantage first shows up. When you lift the motor out of the water for storage, the built-in spring system takes most of the weight off your hands, making that often painful task feel almost effortless. For anyone who has ever struggled with a heavy motor that drags you down the dock, this little bit of mechanical sympathy translates into faster, cleaner transitions between water and shore. The power steering system, paired with a foot pedal controller, is another feature that really shines once you're actually steering. Imagine you're drifting over a submerged reed bed. A hand-controlled joystick can feel clunky, especially when you need to make micro-adjustments. With the foot pedal, you keep both hands on the rod, and the steering response is smooth enough that you can nudge the boat a fraction of a foot without losing your grip on the line. That level of precision is especially valuable in those tight, high-pressure moments when a fish is hooked and you're battling current and drag at the same time. However, the system does require a short learning curve. If you're used to traditional hand control, you'll need to spend at least an hour or so practicing the foot pedal nuances before you feel confident, which is something to keep in mind if you're in a rush to hit the water. Now, let's talk about the SpotLock GPS anchor. This isn't just a marketing buzzword, it's a practical tool that lets you set a virtual anchor point with the push of a button. You can drop a line, let the motor hold you in place, and go about your baiting routine without worrying about drift. The GPS holds the position within a few feet, which for most freshwater lakes is more than sufficient. It's a big time saver when you're trying to keep a stationary lure near a known fish hotspot. The downside? The GPS lock can be a bit finicky in densely wooded areas where satellite signals are blocked. If you fish on a lake surrounded by thick treeline, you may notice a slight drift after a while, meaning you'll need to occasionally re-engage the lock. That's not a deal-breaker, but it's a reality check for those who count on a rock-solid anchor in tricky environments. From a power perspective, the 80 pounds thrust rating is definitely on the higher end for freshwater use. In practical terms, that means you can comfortably push a 12-foot boat at around 5 miles per hour even when you have a full crew and gear on board. If you're the type who likes to cruise between multiple fishing spots rather than staying put, the motor's capacity to handle extra load without bogging down is a genuine benefit. On the flip side, the higher thrust also means a higher battery draw. The recommended battery pack is a 12V 100Ah deep cycle battery, which, if you already own one, fits nicely, but if you need to purchase a new battery, you're looking at an additional $150 $200 investment. So the value of the Ultrex isn't just in the motor itself, it's also tied to the battery ecosystem you already have or are willing to build. Who should buy this motor? If you're a dedicated freshwater angler who spends at least a weekend a month on the water, want precise steering, and don't mind spending a bit of time learning a foot pedal controller, the Ultrex is a solid match. It's especially appealing if you already have a decent deep cycle battery and are looking for a motor that can handle a heavier boat without sacrificing maneuverability. The combination of lift assist and GPS anchoring also makes it a good pick for those who routinely fish in areas with variable currents or need to maintain a precise position for lure presentations. Who should skip it? If you're a casual weekend paddler who only fishes a few hours a year, a lower thrust model might be more cost-effective and easier to handle. Similarly, if your fishing grounds are largely open lakes with no significant